This young girl was abducted from her bed in the middle of the night and left for dead in the middle of a field. In August 1990, 8-year-old Jennifer Stewart was asleep in her mum's bed. She used to do this quite often because she was scared of the dark, so she used to stay with her mum. And this particular night, her mum had work early the next morning, and Jennifer was wriggling around all over the place, kicking her mum all the time. So her mum said, "Why don't you go try and sleep in your bed? You might be able to do it. Just put something nice on to listen to or read a book, then you'll fall asleep." So Jennifer did in fact do this, and she went to her own bed and managed to fall asleep, but she was woken up not that long after while she was being carried out by a strange man, carried outside. He covered her nose and her mouth with his hand and then put her in the back of his car and then sped away. He initially tried to make her feel comfortable during this car ride, telling her that he was undercover police, but then he drove her to a remote location and then he asked her, "Am I scaring you, little girl?" before holding a sharp weapon up to her throat and then strangling her until she fell unconscious. After some period of time, she wakes up while she's been dragged through a field by her ankles. When they get into the middle of this field, the man just dumps her there and then runs off and goes back to his car and then drives away, leaving her in the middle of this field, completely bewildered about what has just happened. She's just been unconscious. She has no idea what is going on, and this man has just left her there. Clearly, he thinks that she's died. While she was unconscious, he had SA'd her and then cut her throat and then dragged her into the middle of this field, thinking that somebody was going to find her body eventually, and she had clearly not survived the attack. However, she did. But when she woke up, she quickly realised she couldn't scream, she couldn't shout, she couldn't say anything. Nothing was coming out. So she put her hands up to her throat and she just noticed that there was blood everywhere. He had literally tried to take her head off. She laid in the middle of this field for 12 hours. The next morning, Jennifer's mum realises that she's not in her bed, so she calls the police and reports her missing. So the police started searching for her straight away, but a group of children actually find her in the middle of this field while they're out playing. So police arrive immediately and Jennifer is taken to hospital, taken into surgery, and she makes a miraculous recovery. She manages to interview with the police, but she can't actually speak, so she just writes everything down. She gave an incredibly detailed description about everything. She was so thorough. She managed to describe his car, she managed to describe what was in the car, she managed to describe him and give an amazing composite sketch so that they could draw it, and it literally looked like a person. You know, sometimes it looked like a potato, but this actually looked like a specific person. She even wrote down that his name was Dennis. Officers also found clothing at the crime scene. They found some clothing belonging to Jennifer and also clothing belonging to a male. Because this was back in the 90s, the DNA testing wasn't that good, so this case went cold and stayed cold for nearly 20 years. In 2008, the cold case was picked back up and DNA testing was so much better, so the clothing that they found at the crime scene originally was retested and a match was found. It matched to a man called Dennis Bradford, who was living with his wife and his stepchildren at the time, but he had been put in the police database 7 years after what had happened to Jennifer because he had abducted and SA'd a woman. Obviously the names matched. Jennifer said the person that did this to her was called Dennis. This man was Dennis. The DNA matched, and then they'd matched up the sketch that the police had done all those years ago to a picture of Dennis, and they are identical. She did such a good job at describing what this man looked like. It literally looks exactly like it. He was arrested in October 2009 for attempted capital murder. He actually ended up giving a full confession. He described himself as sick and deranged and said that the only reason that he did it was because he was driving past and noticed that a bedroom light was on and he just thought the opportunity was there. And so he did it. During his interviews, the police told him that Jennifer had actually survived and that she was thriving in life, and he broke down in tears. While he was waiting for his trial, he told everybody that he was going to be pleading guilty. However, he took his own life before he managed to actually get to the trial. And Jennifer was devastated by this because she wanted to confront him and show him that he did not ruin her life and that she is absolutely thriving, but he took that opportunity away from her.